The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly, all directions, a sea of darkness punctuated only by the cold gleam of distant stars, and the occasional drifting rock that bore silent witness to the passage of time. She floated alone. In the wreckage of her vessel, the remains of its once sleek and formidable frame now little more than twisted metal. In broken panels her breathing was ragged, her body weak, but still she clung to the fragile thread of survival. Her kind were not meant to be here, not in this part of the galaxy, not so far from their own worlds, where the warmth of twin suns bathed their cities in golden light, where the air carried the scent of blossoms that glowed in the night. Yet here she was exiled, marooned, cast away into the silent abyss, with nothing but the echoes of her own thoughts to keep her company. She had been a warrior, once a guardian of her people, a protector of the fragile balance that had kept her world from the grip of chaos, yet all that strength, all that training had failed her when the traders came. They had struck in the dead of the cycle, their ships swift and merciless, their weapons tearing through the defenses like a claw through soft flesh. Her comrades had fought bravely, but they had been outmatched, overwhelmed, left to die among the stars. She had managed to escape, but only barely, her ship damaged beyond repair, its engine sputtering, its life support failing. She had drifted, lost, untethered, waiting for the end to claim her, yet the end had not come, not yet. She stared at the endless void, her mind slipping between memories of a life that seemed impossibly distant now, of laughter shared with those who no longer lived, of the taste of fruit harvested under twin moons, of battles fought and won, each one a step toward a future that would never be hers. Then the light came. A strange vessel approached, moving with an unfamiliar grace, a design unlike any she had seen before. It was not one of her people, not one of the traders. It was something else, something foreign, something unknown. And yet in that moment the fear that should have gripped her did not come. Instead there was only the quiet whisper of a thought, one that barely dared to take shape, hope. The ship slowed, its silhouette casting a long shadow across the remnants of her shattered craft. There was a moment of stillness, then a hatch opened, and from within emerged a figure clad in armor that bore none of the markings she recognized. The shape was unmistakable, to arms, to legs, a face partially obscured by a helmet, a human. She had heard of them spoken of in whispers in the deep records of her kind, as wanderers, as conquerors, as beings who reached beyond their worlds with both hands grasping for the unknown. Some called them dangerous, others called them reckless, but none had ever called them saviors. Yet here one stood offering a hand. She hesitated, weakened as she was. Doubt still lingered. Was this another trick, another trap? Yet the void was merciless, and she had no choices. Left with the last of her strength, she reached out her fingers, brushing against the cold surface of his glove, and in that instant everything changed. He pulled her aboard with surprising gentleness. The interior of the ship was unfamiliar, filled with strange symbols and technology she could not comprehend, but it was warm, the air rich with oxygen, tinged with an unfamiliar scent. The human removed his helmet, revealing eyes that held neither cruelty nor malice, only concern and something else, curiosity. He spoke words she did not understand, but his voice was steady, reassuring. She tried to respond, but the exhaustion overtook her and darkness swallowed her whole. When she woke, she was lying on a medical bed, soft light illuminating the chamber. Her body felt stronger, the aches dulled the tightness in her chest eased. She turned her head and found the human watching her, not with the scrutiny of a scientist observing a specimen, but with the quiet patience of one waiting for answers. They learned to communicate slowly, at first through gestures, through the exchange of simple words. His name was Elias, a wanderer, trader of lost things. He had been passing through this sector when his sensors detected the wreckage. He had expected to find nothing but ruin. Instead, he had found her. She told him of her people, of the betrayal that had cast her into the void, of the war that had stolen everything she knew, and in return he told her of Earth, of blue oceans and green forests, of a world both beautiful and dangerous, a world she could scarcely imagine. Days passed, then weeks, and in that time a bond formed between them, forged in the silent corridors of the ship, in the quiet understanding of two lost souls seeking purpose. But the void was not finished with her yet. A distress signal, an old frequency, one she recognized with a jolt of disbelief. It was her people, survivors, scattered remnants of her fleet, Calling out across the abyss she had thought them lost, thought herself the last of her kind, yet here was proof that hope still lingered. Elias saw the conflict in her, the need to answer the call, and the fear of what lay ahead, but he did not try to stop her. Instead, he did what she never expected a human to do. He offered to stand beside her. Together they followed the signal through the ruins of forgotten worlds, through dangers that lurked in the unseen corners of the galaxy. And when they found the survivors, when she stood before the last remnants of her people and saw their hope rekindle in their eyes, she knew she had not been alone in the void, for she had seen a human hero coming.